It's that time of the year where you need to figure out gifts for your hobbyist. But what the question is, what do you get a hobbyist that already has more hobbies than they have time to do them? Well, that's all right. We got the answers, and we're going to roll right into it. Hey everyone, I'm Scott, and today we're going to go through the top hobby gifts. We're going to break this into sections just to keep it simple for everyone. So section number 1 for model builders and miniature painters. Item number 1 on our list, paint sets. Now you can never have too many paints, probably. Brands like Citadel, Vallejo, Army Painter, these are really perfect for creating like a vibrant, durable designs on models. The beauty of this gift is that paints really do not go wasted. You're always going to run out of some type of paint that you use the most. Getting paint sets for your hobbyist is always going to go over well because you can never have too many. Gift idea number 2, precision tools. Every hobbyist needs sprue cutters, an X-Acto knife, maybe a cutting mat. These are the basics to make assembling models so much easier. I have a hobby knife that I got a couple of years ago as a gift, and this is still one of my favorite hobby knives to date. As a hobbyist, I appreciate anybody that takes the time and thought to be able to buy some tools for me. Item number 3, wet palette. A wet palette is a game changer for keeping paints fresh and workable. Budget-friendly options like the Army Painter wet palette are an awesome choice, and is one of the things that we like to use. You can always surprise your hobbyist by going bigger. So Army Painter made this wet palette XL, which is a very large wet palette. Works great for larger projects, so you can line everything up. You don't have to use multiple palettes or have to change out the sheets. So item number 4, a Vortex mixer. Now, it's critical to mix your paints before using them. They often separate while not being used. A Vortex mixer is a perfect tool to help this. We have a whole video dedicated to mixing your paints called Shake Your Paints. Recommend you give that a look, put a link up above. It outlines the different tools that you can use to be able to mix your paints. One of our favorite tools, and one of the things that we repeatedly go back and use, is the Vortex mixer. Item number 5, color cube. What is a color cube? I love this thing. I spend time looking through it for new projects or when picking a color scheme. Personally, one of my biggest issues is deciding what colors I'm going to paint, what scheme I want to go with. So this thing works out really well because, one, I can look through it and see each of the things and make a decision based on what those look like. Or alternatively, I can randomly pick one of the cards from it and then use that as my inspiration to paint. They cost a few bucks, but they're totally worth it in the end. Number 6, paintbrushes. Paintbrushes are a critical tool for painting miniature. It really pays to have the best, but the job doesn't always call for that. There's a number of tutorials out there on what brushes work well, what brushes don't work well, comparing brushes to other brushes, synthetic versus natural. We like using them all. They all have a purpose for each individual application. I don't think there's one brush that can fit every single application or would be meant for long-term use. What that really comes down to is you're going to need more than one paintbrush. Your hobbyist can never have enough brushes. And so if you go out and grab some brushes, they more than likely can use them. Number 7, magnifying glasses, aka Sexagogs. These are not just for old people or the naturally vision impaired. They can work for everybody. The magnifying glasses are a recent purchase here in the studio. They are great for picking up individual details, and the best part is they're pretty inexpensive. Number 8, an airbrush. An airbrush kit is perfect for anybody that's serious about painting miniatures or model. Now, airbrushes are a little bit tricky, but let's just break it down into 3 pieces. Piece number 1 is the airbrush itself. We use the Sparmax 35. Pretty all-arounder airbrush. Now, the second part that you need for this is a compressor. Without a compressor, you don't have any way to be able to have the paint come out of the airbrush. The third thing for an airbrush is the painting booth. So I recommend getting any one of these things to get your hobbyist started if they're considering airbrushing. One of the hardest steps is the first one, and so if you help them by taking the first step, it's something that they could do to be able to get on the path to using an airbrush. This takes us to group number 2, which is for craft enthusiasts. Number 9 is an epoxy resin kit. A resin kit is perfect for creating jewelry, coasters, or even scenic bases for miniatures. You should look for kits that include pigments and molds for some extra creativity or for a first timer, but you don't necessarily have to do that. Maybe you're going to do it and you're going to do a water scene, or you want to put some extra stuff on bases, and that's perfectly fine. There's a couple different resins that work out there. Two that we recommend is a UV resin that you can put on it, and you simply have to put it in the light. Now, the best part is you don't even have to buy a light. You could simply take the thing and put it outside and let the sun do the work for you. The other thing you can do is use multi-part epoxy type resin. One of our favorite ones is Let's Go resin. Let's Go resin has been pretty consistent for us. We've used it in a lot of our other hobby projects. We have a couple of videos where we go to and explain things in a little more detail. Video number 1 is making dice together, and I'm going to put that up above. And video number 2 is actually making dioramas, and we pour and use that for our water within the diorama itself. And you can check that out up above as well. Number 10, rotary tool set. Rotary tool is an incredible versatile for sanding, carving, even polishing projects. I got a cordless Dremel that I use for mine. This thing is great. I can charge it up, I can use it, I can switch out the utilities. And alternatively, another tool that I really enjoy and I got as a gift last year, one of the things I asked for, is this pen drill tool. This pen drill tool works really well for drilling out barrels, attaching things to bases, and for our Emperor's Anvil that we created. We have another video that we talked about this, and I'll put that up above. Number 11, a hobby light. Seeing is believing. And by believing, I mean not screwing up the paint job on a miniature that you just spent 20 plus hours painting. There are a variety of options out there on the market. We like the mountable articulating ones. However, you can get ones that are on a stand. There's even some that have a magnifying glass. But I tend to not like the ones that have the magnifying glass because it restricts your vision too much, which is another reason we grabbed those magnifying glasses. So I can move my head instead of having to move the light every time I need to adjust. Number 12, a 3D printer. For the tech-savvy crafter, a 3D printer like the Ender 3 is a gift that opens up a lot of endless possibilities. You really need to know your audience. There is some safety regulations that you need to watch and be conscious of when you're doing this. Then we have a guide that shows that talks about the different types of printers and how they work and some of our recommendations. I'm going to put a link to that video up above. But the top recommendations that we have is 1, the Ender 3 V3. The thing we like about this one, it's an FDM printer. It has an auto leveling bed. The other type, the resin or SLA type printer, we recommend getting a Mars 3 or 4. If you want a bigger printing space, get a Saturn 2 or 3, depending on what's available and what's on sale. Number 13 is resin or 3D printing materials. The expenses for 3D printing can really rack up quick. This is one of the outstanding gifts that I've told my friends and family. Get me resin because I'm always going to need it. Now, that takes us to group number 3. And group number 3 is for gamers and collectors. Number 14 is custom dice sets. A lot like paints and a lot like paintbrushes, dice are something that a gamer can never have enough of. Dice are versatile. You can use them for war games, you can use them for tabletop RPGs like D&D, but finding some custom dice that are either made out of metal or maybe some type of precious gem or polished material. Now we also have a whole collection of dice that Hungry Barbarian has made for us that we sell on our store. So I'm going to have a link for that down below and you can check it out. And we're running a 25% off deal going on right now. Number 15, gaming terrain. Pre-built terrain pieces or build your own kits are great for war games. They add so much to the gaming experience, and there's a variety of options. You can get some of the kits from many different places. Frontline Gaming offers a variety. Games Workshop, well, it's not going to be in time for this holiday season. At the beginning of the year, we're planning on launching our own line of terrain pieces that you can buy from us. Number 16, a gaming mat. These are fun to have and make gameplay way more immersive. They are a great gift for both tabletop RPGs and war gamers alike. We recommend anything from Green Matter Gaming or from Frontline Gaming. Number 17, painted miniatures. If you want to go the extra mile, you should consider commissioning a painted miniature of your hobbyist's favorite character or army piece. This is an awesome hobby gift, but it does require some advanced planning. You can check with your friendly local game store. They probably have a store commissioned artist that they promote, or they would have somebody that they would recommend that would do a great job. Number 18, display cases. For collectors, a display case to showcase their miniatures or model is a thoughtful and practical gift. If your gamer or hobbyist has some exciting pieces, then this is a really great gift to get them. They can display their favorite pieces, they can show them off, and they're going to be thinking of you every time they see that piece. Number 19, miniature models. Picking up a few sets or the special model for your hobbyists will definitely make their day. It's important, though, that you pay attention to what gaming system that they're talking about getting into or already are into. You can ask them some simple questions like what faction they play or what group, or what some questions about a special character that they wish they had. They'll consider that a very thoughtful gift, and you'll be appreciated in the long run. The last grouping that we have is more of a general hobby gift group. So we're going to start with number 20, and that's gift cards. When you're in doubt, you can grab some gift cards. Gift cards to stores like Games Workshop, Hobby Lobby, or Amazon are always appreciated. While they don't feel very personal, they are appreciated. A lot of times it's hard to find out where you're going to purchase the things you want from. So by getting gift cards, it gets you that much closer to the next model, set, paint, whatever it is that you want to get. Or so giving a gift card can really go a long way. This gets us to our final item, number 21, which is workshop tickets. Tickets to painting classes or craft workshops are a fantastic way to help your hobbies level up their skills. This could be at a local gaming store, a library, or maybe even a local community college. A lot of times there'll be one-off classes that are out there and you just have to look for them. But getting that hands-on experience with somebody that's right there in front of you, that's willing to explain or answer questions or show you techniques, is really invaluable. Remember that this list doesn't have to be just for the upcoming holidays in December. You can use them any time of the year. Maybe it's for Mother's Day, St. Patty's Day. Maybe you need to get your loved one a special gift. This list can be used all year around. Good luck with your gifts. Stay safe during the holidays. And until next time when we see you at the table.